Do you ever wonder why people have addictions, struggle with eating disorders, want to hurt themselves in any way or take pills or escape? A lot of that's because we have so much trauma inside and we don't know how to deal with it. And it manifests in symptoms out here. And a lot of people try to deal with the symptoms instead of going within and actually healing the inner child, because the inner child is the one that experienced all these things. And all this trauma that happened when we were little is stored in our nervous system. You can't logic and reason with emotion. You won't logic and reason with trauma, because that's a very strong energy. And for me, I had a lot of trauma when I was little, and then when I was I was put in hospitals and treatment centers for over 23 years, struggling with anorexia, depression, suicide, cutting, all that stuff. And I just didn't like myself because I had all these underlying issues that I didn't want to deal with. I had all this hurt and pain, and I thought that's who I was. And I tried to kill that part of me because that part of me was hurting, and I didn't know how to deal with that hurt. And a lot of people go into treatment centers and get better. For me, looking back at my experience, it traumatized me even more because I was anorexic. They forced me to eat, and forcing somebody to eat in an unhealthy way is not self-love. It's not helping them to love themselves, and it's traumatic. It's traumatic. I always share with the nurses that I speak with that what's it like for me when I was facing food. And I say, imagine that you're in an airplane and you're getting ready to jump, and the person in there is saying jump, and you're like, I can't, I don't have a parachute. They're like, jump, either jump or you're not gonna be able to get the prize. And that's pretty much how it is when someone who's anorexic sits down and faces food. That terror is really intense. And I dealt with that. They wanted to give me electric shock therapy. They put me on meds. They labeled me all these things in the DSM. And all I was a scared, hurt little girl. And nobody helped me deal with that part. Nobody helped me. They just wanted to put weight on me. They threatened if I didn't gain weight, I wouldn't move up my levels, I wouldn't get to leave, and all my therapy sessions were power struggles about the food and gaining weight, and I did this dance for 23 years. Almost more than millions of dollars were spent on my treatment in hospitals and things like that, and I never got better, and they actually left me to die. The doctors and treatment centers eventually gave up on me, my family gave up on me, and it was the best thing ever because I stopped doing what everybody else thought I should do. I gained weight naturally. The weight came on me naturally when I started loving myself, when I started doing the inner healing. My body started feeling at ease, and I started eating more naturally. I wasn't forcing myself to eat. I wasn't being a good girl or a bad girl if I ate or not ate. Reward punishment is the whole eating disorder cycle, and people don't get that. And for me, it was so important for all that to happen. Everything happens for a reason. Sometimes you have to stop doing what's not working to find out what works. And I always went, okay, so here I am, fix me. I went into hospitals and treatment centers. Once I got in there, I wanted to leave. I fought the program, and it was intense. And they just labeled me non-compliant. It's like all these things. They got mad at me, and why? I was just a scared little girl. I just wanted to be loved and accepted for who I was. I couldn't be who I was in my family. I couldn't be who I disconnected so much from my truth, and I was living in this world but hating myself and hating being alive, because if I couldn't be me, how can I live? So I just decided to make a video on this because I don't think people really understand, and maybe they do now, but eating disorders isn't about the food. And to force somebody to eat, to force somebody, whatever it is, the more you focus on the food, the more you focus on the symptom, the more you focus on this, instead of going into here, instead of healing that inner child who's just saying, please love me. I want to be loved for me. I don't want to be told what I need to do. I want to find out what's right for me and let me do that. I mean, they say, especially anorexia, but they say eating disorders is about control. Duh. We all want to have a sense of control of our lives. I mean, to say that is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, because it's a given for a human being to want to feel like we have some sense of control, some say in our lives, So for me, like thank God I'm still alive. I was, being anorexic for over 23 years. My body was eating on itself. My organs were shutting down. I went into cardiac arrest a few times, and I'm strong and healthy today. It's a miracle. My periods came back. I didn't have my period for 15 years. There's so many things that can happen. So don't ever give up on yourself, especially if you're struggling with an eating disorder, addiction, depression, anxiety, all that stuff. Those are just symptoms up here. And it's just showing us that something is going on in here that just needs our love and attention. So I hope this video inspired you in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways or another. Feel free to contact me. I would love to support you on your journey if you're struggling with these issues, or if you're just struggling to love yourself, or just be here, or anything like that. I would love to support you on your journey. I believe in you, and I love you.